I'm here with Tennessee Titans rookie quarterback Will Levis, and I was just asking you off camera for a second, do you play fantasy football? And you said, yes, sir, I do.
I've been playing for probably 12 years now.
All right.
Yeah. We don't play for anything, just for fun, but I mean, one league in particular that's been going for a strong 9 years in a row now.
Now, who's in this league?
Just all of the dudes that I went into my freshman year of high school with. So,
okay.
So we try to make the loser do something every year. We don't always get them to do it, but it's always fun.
Have you ever
time.
finished last?
Never. No,
okay,
no.
Well, that's good.
Who's eating good? Served by Applebee's. That was Will Levis, Matthew.
By
the
the
guy
way,
that does not finish last in fantasy football.
He does not finish last in fantasy football. He's playing better. And by the way, you want to talk about a nice guy. That guy is like an awesome, awesome dude. For sure. He grew up in Connecticut, so high school Connecticut athlete. And after the interview, I mentioned to him, I said, oh, my son, by the way, is playing in the state championship for lacrosse. You know what I mean? You guys remember when I was talking about that. He's like, and he did a video just to hype up. Hey, he's like, us Connecticut high school athletes got to stick together. Like, he just did like
he's authentically a good dude.
He's authentically a very good dude. So I'm always going to root for Will Levis. And I was encouraged by how he played last week. You know, I thought he looked pretty good, Lawrence, as well. Like, so you see here, you look at his passing chart here from Next Gen Stats, and you know, he was taking some deep shots. He was moving all over. Like, this is pretty good. 18 of 23, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Played very, very well. Also, getting a little bit of fantasy production with his legs. He 5 for 41. He's now had at least 35 rushing yards in 3 of his 5 full fantasy games this year. It's a tough matchup against Minnesota, though, guys. That's one of my concerns. Vikings allow the 7th fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. So it'll be a test for Will Levis, but I think if you are a Titans fan, if you're Brian Callahan, you have to be encouraged by what you saw from Levis last week.
I like the fact that he got better, right? He got better. And shout out to the Titans for, even though he hasn't played well.
Remember them.
Always remember the Titans. Shout out to them for letting him play. Even though he didn't start out the season good, backup quarterback comes in and actually plays decent.
Right.
They let Will Levis keep on playing. Unlike some other teams in the AFC South.
Yeah.
With their veteran quarterback who ain't even playing good. So shout out to the Titans for allowing Will Levis to actually get better. Look, there was some things football-wise, Will Levis and them, they going to look at the tape, they be like, we got to clean this up. Yeah. But he ain't turned the ball over, and he was doing a lot of that. And you mentioned the rushing. They had some design runs in there for Will Levis. One of them was on the 3rd and 2, so they're figuring out how to put their young quarterback in the best position for him to succeed. And for that, man, I am happy for Will Levis.
By the way, I'll also say this about Will Levis. Again, like, you can say I'm not objective, fair enough, but like, awful offensive line, you know, and they trade away DeAndre Hopkins, who was hurt at the beginning of the year. Like, he's got Calvin Ridley and not much else on that team, so he doesn't have a ton of weapons either protecting him or in the passing game as well. It was nice to see him get Ridley involved last week. So and they took some shots there. So he's my QB 25 this week. But I think, to the extent that you have Calvin Ridley, to the extent you have Tony Pollard, maybe Tajay Spears in a slightly deeper league, like, I think you're encouraged by what you saw out of Will Levis. And certainly Will Levis is now on the, in a superflex league, like the League of Assholes. Yeah, I think he's.
I'm starting him in the League of Assholes. I need you to come through because I just lost to Connor Rogers right here. Wow. So Will Levis, come through for your boy.
Yeah. What about? Hey, by the way, I got an idea. What if you and I, Lawrence,
trade Will Levis for Jaden Daniels?
No, I'm going to pass on that opportunity, but thank you for it. It's very kind.
It's a nice offer.
No, I was going to say, like, what if you and I start the Worst Lands podcast? We start the Worst Lands podcast, and in theory, it's about the Giants, but we never actually talk about the Giants. All we do is crap all over Connor and the Badlands podcast. That's entirely, and we play clips of it and we make fun of him, and literally that's, Worst Lands is entirely about just mocking Badlands.
So just be like, well, look at what this guy said.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
talking about like that type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It depends.
Yeah, Daniel Jones had a tough game, but did you hear what Connor said? Yeah.
Get Jay in the mix as a guest.
Oh.
It depends.
He says legs.
Are we making fun of Connor Rogers or Rogers Conman?
No, Rogers Conman would be the co-host of
Saul Goodman.
Worst
Yes.
Lands. I'm taking it one step
con
further.
man.
Now I'm saying, like, no.
Oh, you just want to empty the clip.
Yeah, exactly. I'm asking if you want in.
Hey, send the paperwork.
All right.
Yeah.
My people
Make sure you get
contact
paid
your
for this.
people.
Just like you said about that Crocodile Dundee, if you're gonna sell out, and I will be selling. This is my boy right here, but I'm willing to sell out.
Okay.
I'll sell out.
He's not your boy that much. If you're willing to sell,
I would approve of that. Get the bag for it.
Look, I'm gonna slip him off a little something on the side.
While our fake podcast rivalry blows up for subscribers.
I'm telling you, worse lands. There's something there. I'm going to print T-shirts.
Cortland Sutton against the Falcons this week. And listen, last week, he's now got 3 straight games with 17-plus points. He was wide receiver 6 last week, Lawrence. Bo Nix kind of even hinted at this a couple weeks ago. He said, sorry for people that didn't start him in fantasy.
Read that right now.
Oh, damn.
Let's go.
Let's go.
He's free, baby.
You got an alert from the Bleacher Nation fantasy app, which
Yeah.
used to be Fantasy Live. Shane Steichen says the Colts are going back to Anthony Richardson.
This is what America wants, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. This 2
Colts
days
money
after
line.
Steichen saying Joe Flacco
Jets ain't
will start
winning no
versus the
more.
Jets. There you go. So that is from Kevin Bowen on Twitter, who covers the team. Anthony Richardson back in for the Colts. Here's my question, Lawrence. We don't know yet about Michael Pittman. Very quickly, let's talk about this. We don't know yet about Michael Pittman. Are you starting, other than Richardson, are you starting any Colt? They're playing the Jets. They're on the road. Richardson's been inconsistent. Downs has had it was mostly like on a broken play with Richardson. He's had success with Flacco. Are you starting Josh Downs? Are you starting any Colt that isn't named Jonathan Taylor?
I would start Josh Downs as a flex play still. I would, because I just don't think you can. If you got Josh Downs on the rock, like Adonai Mitchell, Alec Pierce, that's off the table right there. That's off the table. But Josh Downs he's shown that he could be good with either guy. Even on that long play, the ball still had to get there. Anthony Richardson still hit him on that one by the goal line. That was an inch away from catching 2 touchdowns. So I would say Josh Downs as a long shot flex.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
It's not going to be 8 targets,
The floor is
7.
different. The floor is different.
It's not going to be
right.
7 catches, 70 yards. I would be shocked if it's that, because you're going to run with the quarterback more now.
Yeah, there's still upside to down, but there's now much more downside, whereas I don't think with Flacco there was still very much a floor there. I will say that if there's one place, Connor, that you can attack the Jets secondary, it would be in the slot. I mean, obviously with Reed and Sauce on the corners.
Michael Carter is good, but
he is, but he's not the same level of those guys.
They play a lot of zone. I would think Downs is still viable in this game.
It could be, you could say it's a little fantasy-wise a little worse for Josh Downs, but most definitely better for Jonathan Taylor.
For sure.
So
For
that's
sure.
where
They're
I
going to
would
go run
with it.
heavy on the road at the Jets. It'll be interesting to see. I feel like this is going to be Jets were favored by 4.5. No, they were favored by 2.5, right? Jets are favored by 4. They're favored by 4.
That's a big line.
I think this gets to a pick 'em or maybe like 1.
But this too.
Richardson
Now,
has been good.
now you get Richardson's last time out, they dropped 3 touchdown passes. I don't know if he's benched if they catch them, but in the grand scheme of things, you gotta deliver something. Like have a game like Will Levis just had statistically. Had that type of game, and people will forget about the tap out. You gotta
Will
deliver.
Levis or Anthony Richardson, who you're starting in the League of Assholes?
Oh, Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
I want the ability to go 50 yards for a touchdown run. Like
Jets are bad against running quarterbacks.
Yeah, I would rather have that, but I didn't feel bad about having Levis in there at all.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's viable.
He's up for trade if anybody other league in the league of ass. Actually, no. Let me keep Levis in case they go put him back on the bench.
Steichen did say he's going to start the rest of the year.
Hey, look,
we
we got to put Anthony Richardson jersey back on. Actually, you know what?
Not hiding anymore.
You know what?
We
Let him have a good.
We have Richardson kind of in the corner.
Right behind the bar.
He used to be up there. Let him have a decent game. Then we gotta get the jersey.
Yeah, you gotta earn your way back.
You gotta earn your way back.
Yeah,
you gotta earn your way back.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just have preseason hype.
You guys mentioned it. Our last Eaton Good candidate is Alec Pierce against the Jets. He was a top 10 receiver last week, Matthew. This really comes down to if Michael Pittman is out again, can you start Pierce? Do you start Adonai Mitchell, or does the Richardson news kind of revert back to what we said? It's just Josh Downs, no one else.
That's what I think. I think it's Jonathan Taylor and it's Josh Downs. And again, the floor is lower for Josh Downs than it would be with Flacco. So again, I think he's I think he's a low-end wide receiver. He's on that 3-4 range. Right?
I don't even know if I would have went with Pierce even with Flacco, right? I would have probably chosen Adonai Mitchell. Pierce caught the 10-yard touchdown, 2 seconds left in the game. They was getting blown out. 33 of his yards came on that last drive where they're just kind of, going through the motion. Bills is like, we won already. So, but Adonai Mitchell, 94% of the snaps, 6 for 71, getting the ball at the, short intermediate areas of the field. That Alec Pierce is more of a go downfield type of guy. Adonai Mitchell is a guy who could work the whole field.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because I wonder if going back to Richardson is in essence, and you mentioned he said he's starting the rest of the year.
Yep.
So it's an indication that the Colts have come to their senses and been like, all right, Richardson's the future. We've got to see what we got out of this kid. We got to get him some reps. So, but so is A.D. Mitchell. I mean, who knows how serious Pittman is? Do they shut him down for the year? How serious the injuries, I should say. Yeah. But they spent a second-round pick on Adonai Mitchell. And I know, Connor, you felt like he might be a little bit overdrafted, but still, this is
he can play, though.
Tons of talent.
Tons of talent, and so you just got to get him out there. And, he's earning targets at a pretty high rate in terms of, his targets per route run. And so just let the kid run more routes, right?
Yeah. The Colts should start to see what they have in this connection. Mitchell can stretch the field a little bit. He could really play at all 3 levels. He just needs refinement. And so does Richardson. So let them get the reps together.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.